We got about 3 or 4 stories about cops. Bad cops over here. Exclusive. Oh my brother. Cop mercilessly beats homeless veteran. Exclusive. Attorney. Cops beat client for no reason. Let's get to it.
Indisputable exclusive. A military veteran, unhoused temporarily, was brutally attacked by law enforcement. I'm going to first show you this video.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Gonna ask you to just not reach for anything and step on out of the vehicle, okay?
What I'm coming out the vehicle for?
We'll talk about that, okay? So just step on out of DUI. Alright, so stand up, turn around, hands behind your back.
Hands behind my back. Yes, you're gonna be the same handcuffs. No, I'm not.
You're about to stand up. Victor 9-1 fighting.
Stop fighting me, bro. Quit fighting. He's assaulting me. I'm not assaulting you, bro. Get out of the car. I got ready. Stop fighting me, bro. Ow! Not move. All right. What the f*** did I do, bro? I'm trying, my brother, oh, my brother, oh, my brother, oh, my brother, oh. Yeah. You go, no, you're done, you're all right.
I had that left arm. It's like, don't f***ing do it, dude.
Put up the pictures.
Ready for these scumbags? Look at that.
Unhoused man, Colorado Springs, Colorado, was beaten by police on October 9th. He and an acquaintance were stopped by police for not properly displaying their tags. The cops told Mr. Dalvin Gadsden to step out.
Guard, making it happen.
Of marijuana, which by the way is legal, and also suspicion of DUI. You can hear the 29-year-old Dalvin Gadsden pleading with his 3 white attackers. Oh my brother, oh my brother. You're looking at these photos, let's show the others. Okay. During the attack, an officer says to another, "He's assaulting me," while the video shows the opposite. Remember, we had an officer tell us at Indisputable they will say things like that in order to create a case for their own defense in the midst of being violent.
That's called, you know what they're doing? They're covering their own tracks in their asses. Yeah, you saw that video. That cop was holding, oh, he's assaulting me. And that cop was blatantly punching that. He was punching Mr. Gadsden repeatedly, over and over and over.
So we know the game. Gadsden was still handcuffed to his house.
And you know, here's another thing too. That's what cops do. Oh, he assaulted me. Oh, I was fearing for my life. I was fearing for my safety. I feel like I was gonna die. Like a couple months ago, I did about that young man that got killed over a water gun. That cop can, try to do his defense. I was fearing for my life. That's what cops do. It's called Cops Play 101, covering their own tracks and their bases just to cover up their own, And you get cops going there and say, "Oh, bad guy goes to jail and good guys go home." That's what they do.
Hospital bed, his body covered in bruises, scrapes, lacerations. In the hospital, Gadsden can barely raise his voice to speak to the officer. The officer decides to speak to Mr. Gadsden. Here it is.
It's just kind of the way we do things. If you want to talk to me, I'll want to talk to you. Or you want to answer some questions and talk to me about what happened?
What happened?
Well, hold on. Before you start, I got to read something to you. Or do you want to talk to me about what happened?
Well, I really need to get in touch with my lawyer.
Okay. Well, if you want your lawyer, then I won't talk to you about what happened.
What's the purpose of you talking to me for, sir?
Once he said the word lawyer,
Yep.
that is him invoking his right.
Yeah. Like and here's the thing cops are so stupid about. When you get somebody that knows their rights, that knows the Constitution Amendment rights, especially when you get a guy who says, I am revoking my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, and I am not speaking without a lawyer. To a cop, that means you shut the hell up. You don't ask any more questions. It means the conversation is over. You don't keep around, reach around. Oh, well, anything you want to say? No. It means he's invoking his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Especially, he says, I'm not talking without my lawyer.
To counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is time for the cop to exit his ass up out of the hospital room.
Yep.
But he did not.
Nope. He kept egging him on.
Why was Mr. Gadsden in this situation? His attorney said Gadsden, let's put up the military picture, was giving a ride to another man to work when he was pulled over for improper tags. Mr. Gadsden was a 29-year-old homeless veteran or unhoused who was honorably discharged. There's more. Three officers took part in this beating. Officer Hummel, Officer Hickman, and Officer Anderson. And all three can be seen hitting, kicking, and slapping Mr. Gadsden on video. One cop, Matthew Anderson, smiles for a photo.
Oh, check this out.
Of his blood knuckles.
Look at that.
After the beating.
He's like, oh, yeah, this is great.
Look at it. This is a trophy for him.
And that's exactly what is trophy. You know how like a rapist or somebody sadistic takes a trophy, like a prize of their victim? You know what cops' trophies are? Yeah, blood being shed on their knuckles or uniforms like that. Or you know what their ultimate prize or trophy is? The life of somebody. Because they're going to say, well, I was fearing for my life. Well, and I say, well, I guess the bad guy's dead. We'll score for the good guy. We're going home, brother, yeah. Because they're blue line thugs. Thin blue line, they're thugs. And you got this cop right here smiling, bragging about, hey, I got blood in my hand. This is my pride. Because I beat the crap out of an African guy. Just for the hell of it, because I'm the law. I got a badge. I got a gun.
Gadsden's attorney revealed to Indisputable this morning that Anderson had previously been removed from the department for excessive use of force, but was brought back.
Should never be rehired.
In that separate incident, Anderson nearly broke a man's arm after the man had flipped him off. Oh. They fired him and brought him back.
Wow.
This is the attorney for Mr. Gadsden, a friend of Indisputable and a friend of mine, great civil rights attorney, Harry Daniels. Daniels spoke with Indisputable exclusively, called his client's treatment stomach churning, vicious, and absolutely inhumane.
Yep.
It's difficult to listen to these officers laugh and joke about beating a veteran to a bloody mess and drawing their firearm on an unarmed man. With officers this casual about the use of excessive and potentially deadly force, Mr. Gadsden is lucky to be alive. This is the proclamation from the attorney. Indisputable Investigates did an interview with Harry Daniels about the incident. Here it is.
And yeah, you got violation of excessive use of force, Fourth Amendment right, assault battery, a lot of officers. I mean, when you look at it, you know, he refused to get out of the vehicle because he didn't understand why they were trying to detain him on marijuana. He didn't find any marijuana on him. I mean, you got to remember, you're in Colorado. Colorado's a state where you have recreational use of marijuana. I talk to people all the time. They say you can smell marijuana in the air everywhere. Almost any state to have, you know, legal use. But as long as Colorado's the first state to have legal recreational use of marijuana, if I'm not mistaken. It's very prevalent out there. So their claim and wanted to do a DUI investigation on him wasn't really warranted because, well, he didn't serve inside of therapy. Two, there's no hearing from courts saying, no, you didn't have probable cause to do all that. So then we have the guy stop for a tag. You overreaching, want to do a DUI sobriety when there's no reason to do it. You have no probable cause to do it. Then you beat him when he refused to get out of the vehicle. They tried to charge him assaulting an officer, felony assault. The DA dismissed that charge, but they didn't see that. And he's left bloody and bruised.
Unbelievable. You know what? I want to make up a point before you continue on. It seems like Colorado has a really bad track of cops. With dirty cops out there. I mean, they're already facing a hefty lawsuit, like the 4 Lumpton cops that caused that woman to be hit by a train. They were because they were so busy concerning saying, "Oh, we need to find a gun." They didn't care about her that maybe a freighter was coming by. Or let's talk about the case about one cop that blatantly, that almost killed a 75-year-old elderly man. That cost the taxpayer $7 million. So yeah, it's been a pretty expensive year due to reckless and endangering thug tactic cops.
Let me give you the head of the police department for this jurisdiction.
Yeah.
This is your police chief. His name is Chief Vasquez.
That's the chief.
Colorado Springs was featured on Indisputable yesterday after comedian Mark Curry was harassed by security officers at the mining exchange.
Wow.
The city also settled a lawsuit after officers assaulted a Black Lives Matter protester. This city has a lot of issues. Racism. We've covered them multiple times. I want to give you the post. This is a link to Gadsden's GoFundMe page. If you would like to contribute, there it is. It's right there. Right? On the page, Gadsden writes, I have been homeless for about 3 to 4 months, sleeping in my car, doing DoorDash, until my money was saved enough to get an apartment. While sleeping, a stranger named Carlos knocked on my car window. When I had awoken, he asked me if I could take him to his job close by for $20. I needed the money, he says, so I said yes. While driving him to his destination, I was pulled over by the police. I was startled when this happened because I never get pulled over. I tell the stranger Carlos to relax and that the stop would be over soon. Colorado Springs Police Department Public Information Officer Pamela Castro has not yet responded to the release of the videos. They have not responded to Indisputable. We are awaiting a response, hopefully this week. Now, some will say, well, he should have simply complied. Please understand, when there's a negotiation, when there's an argument, when there's a conflict, officers are trained to de-escalate, to utilize appropriate force. The reason why excessive force is called excessive force is because it was too much force to remedy the situation at hand. This is a no-no in policing. It is against the law. It is against protocol. It is against the sentiment of the common person. We don't want this kind of policing in the United States of America. So there are multiple violations, obviously, on the scene, and then even in the hospital.
You know, and I think a point I want to bring up too is, people saying, well, if you're pulled over by the cops or you're stopped by the cops, you should just comply with all the orders. No. If they're making unlawful orders or they're claiming like reasonable suspicion, articulated suspicion, you have every right to challenge the stop, or like if the traffic stop or you're being detained by the cops. Especially if you ask them, say, "Am I free to go?" and they say, "No, am I being detained?" Yes. Okay. What reasonable articulated suspicion have you that you reasonable of saying, and I have committed a crime, about to commit a crime, or have committed a crime? You have every right. It is your duty and your amendment rights, especially your First Amendment rights, to the question is stop. I mean, people say, well, if they're giving you an order, you should obey it. Yes, to a certain degree. But if you know it's a wrong order or it's unlawful or it's some like a made up, trumped up fucking law, you have a right to challenge that. You do. That's what the thing. That's it. And you get cops out there violating people's Fourth Amendment rights to unlawfully stop and seizure.
And there may be some violations beyond. We will stay on top of the story as it develops. My dear brother, what are your thoughts here?
Well, wow, there's a lot. To start off, like his lawyer said, he's lucky he's alive. We've seen too many of these cases where the victim does get killed. Again, it's almost comical to listen to a cop while you're watching him beat a man who's down say he's assaulting me. It's like, what is he assaulting your fists with his face? Is that why you want to show off the bloody knuckles at the end?
Man, it was crazy. Then that cop was smiling by his breath.
And this is another case. You know, you did say something that I don't know if I agree with when you talked about, when you said that this isn't the kind of policing that America wants. This isn't the kind of violence. Unfortunately, too often it is. You know, that they use that he didn't comply story, which as far as I'm concerned, after the insurgent attack on January 6th, you're not allowed to talk about compliance anymore. You can't be a right-winger and use the word compliance after you attacked the Capitol and killed Capitol police officers. I don't want to hear anything about someone who should comply with the law. Now, this man did nothing wrong, as you say, in Colorado. And I've been to Colorado Springs, and I've been in the hotel Mark Curry was in. And let me just say, I absolutely believe him based on some sketchy treatment I received at the hotel checking in. But,
wow.
you know, Colorado Springs is looking really bad. This is showing a pattern of abuse. And like you said, these cops, this is the shame of it. They get their job back, or they move one town over, one jurisdiction over, and they go to work. And ever since I heard this idea, I have been a proponent of it, a big believer of it. In these cases, when they come up with the settlement, because that's how they make it go away. They always offer a cash settlement. The money has to come out of the police pension fund.
Exactly.
When the cops have to pay for their behavior out of their own money, rather than using the taxpayers' money in the city fund, this behavior will change.
Yeah.
So that's the real penalty. Yeah, make them pay money out of their own pocket, and suddenly they may not be as quick to swing on people. It's a horrible case. Unfortunately, it's not even unusual anymore.
Yeah,
we've lost the ability to be shocked by these things.
And that's one of the sad dynamics about it. And let me say this quickly. I agree with you. There's a segment of society, they like this kind of policing. But there is a reason that 94% of Americans believe that police reform is required. Regardless of party affiliation, 94% of Americans believe police reform on some level is required.
But here's the thing as well. Some police agencies, you don't reform, you replace the bad cops. You just don't reform them. I mean, if you try to reform them, yeah, they might be good for a while, but sometimes it's like you get a domestic violence abuser. Yeah, you might get like the guy says, "Oh, I'll change, don't change." You get counsel like that, but sometimes you get a guy that goes back to their old ways, kind of like a rapist. They might get out of society and say, "Oh, I've done good in the penitentiary. I've got good behavior. I've done like jobs like that." They'll get out of the system, but guess what? They go back to their old ways. That's why it's the same with cops. Some cops you can't reform; you replace them. Simple as that. And it looks like we're living the day and age. It's like you go, a cop stops you and demands ID, and you did nothing wrong. You're just walking down the street, or you're passing a car, doing nothing. You're just going on point A to point B with your friend, your family member, or co-worker. They tell you that, ID or go to jail, or comply with my orders or get shot. I mean, that's how it is nowadays. So compliance, I mean, it's like, especially after January 6th, all that shit nowadays. I mean, it's crazy. And like I said, man, Colorado is sure reaching deep in their pockets. I mean, between the $7 million that one cop cost the city, for Lumpton, now this. I mean, just keep stacking up. Yeah, and this is how you do it. You don't take out the taxpayers. You take it out of the police, at the pension. That's what I'm out here. My job. Peace out.